All right, moving on to cover letters. A resume shows what you've done, and a cover letter explains why it matters. It explains why you're applying, why that company, and how your experience fits the role. So it allows you to really personalize the application process. Many candidates skip cover letters, but submitting one signals initiative, communication skills, serious interest, and in competitive roles, this might be the differentiator. So I know there's some industries or situations where it's like you could probably skip it. But if I had to give you a default recommendation, I would say submit a cover letter. Other reasons to submit a cover letter. They allow career changers to explain themselves. A new CDL driver coming from warehouse work, healthcare worker transitioning roles. Another reason is it allows to reinforce keywords for the ATS. Multiple reasons why cover letters can be very helpful in the job search. So they're especially important for entry level, for career changers, gaps in employment, highly competitive roles, and roles emphasizing communication skills. So here is a weak cover letter. Dear hiring manager, I'm applying for this job I saw online. I just got my CDL. I need a job. I'm a hard worker. I learn fast. I think I would be good at this position. I'm available to start right away. Thank you for your time. Does this tell the person reading it anything about why they would be really good at the job, other than they say they're a hard worker and that they learn fast? They think they'd be good at the position. They're available right away, but I don't have a sense of where they're coming from, why they're interested in that particular company. Yeah, it's the focus is that I need a job instead of what the employer needs. And if there's nothing else that you walk away from this webinar with than this, the more and better able you are able to tie what you have to what the employer needs, the more effective your job search is going to be. If you open with, well, I need a job and I need to start tomorrow because I need to pay my mortgage, that doesn't tell the employer anything about what you could do for them. I mean, they might sympathize and say, hey, man, I really get it, but that's not how the hiring process works. It's not based on, well, you need it the most, so I'm going to give you the job. I mean, maybe that would be better. I don't know. But it's really about tying your skills, experience, talents, what you can do for them to their needs, period. And in the cover letter, it's a great opportunity to do that. So here's a good prompt. Here's my resume. Here's the job description. Please write a cover letter emphasizing safety, highlight transferable skills, don't invent experience, and keep the tone confident but professional. And here's the result. It's a more fleshed out letter. It starts with where they saw it posted on Indeed, why they're particularly interested in it, what kind of skills and experience matches the job description. And I like the last one. I'm particularly drawn to your company's emphasis on on-time delivery. I'm committed to that. I really get into that. And that being said, it's not hard to go to AI and say, hey, I need a good prompt for writing a cover letter or resume. So what changed? Focus shifted from I need a job to here's how I can help you. Industry keywords, connected past experience to new role, professional tone specific to employer needs. Now we're going to get into AI and interviewing. And this one is fun, but AI really can give that little extra something that previous did not exist. AI will help you do your answers and make them sound better, and do a mock interview. That's kind of where it starts to get fun. Help you get ideas for what interview questions you might be asked, and figure out good questions to ask employers based on the job description and based on your experience. So lots of great potential in helping you prepare for interviews using interviewing. Oh my gosh, if there is one piece of advice I would give people when they say, well, what kind of advice is helpful? I said, well, do your homework. Be the most prepared of all the people that are interviewed that day. Know your stuff. Be prepared. Do your homework. So employers hire people who are prepared and understand their business. Research the company's mission, services, and target customers. There is no excuse for not knowing that in an interview. And I don't care if you're cleaning the floors for this company. Know why that company exists, because that's irresistible. When somebody applying for a job has cared enough to learn about the why of their existence, sounds pretty good to me. Company's values and culture, and the industry trends. So there's really no excuse not to know this and to be prepared to talk about it. and to tie their mission, services, values to you. So a weak prompt on AI would be, tell me about this company. A strong prompt is, here's the company's website and job posting. Please summarize this company's mission, services, and target customers in simple language. Other strong prompts, based on this company's website, what values do they emphasize? Specific role, break down the key responsibility and required skills. What are the top 5 competencies they are likely screening for? That's gold, because then you identified their top 5 competencies they're looking for, and you can honestly say you have 4 out of the 5, ideally 5 out of the 5. What are you going to focus on? When they say, tell me about yourself, what are you going to talk about? I know you're all thinking it. You're going to talk about how you have those competencies. Yep, right there, right out of the gate. And they're going to be listening to you saying, what are 3 ways I can align my experience to their needs? And industry trends, what are current challenges in the regional trucking industry? Because that's, knowing what the challenges are, once again, I mean, that's what they're trying to solve problems. They've got a problem. They need you to help fix it. Showing that you're curious about that and that you're tapped into that, pretty cool. So turning your research into strong answers. This is where you connect the dots. So here's a typical question. Why do you want to work here? And you could say, well, I want to work here because it's a good company. Yawn. Research informed answer. I'm especially interested in your company's focus on regional routes and driver safety. Your emphasis on consistent home time and compliance standards aligns with how I approach my work. I mean, I wouldn't ever want anybody to try to memorize these AI generated answers because they sound, like a little bit fancy, but know what you're going to say and tie who they are into your answer. But a good company, that's not good enough. But the second one does sound more intentional, but you want to make it so that it sounds like words you would actually. Answering interview questions, good people often give weak answers. We ramble, we can be too vague, no clear result, no measurable outcome. Talking about responsibilities instead of impact. Why is that? It's because we're human and we don't do this for a living. The solution to framing your answers. So I really value having some sort of framework to keep me between the lines. So a framework that is very helpful in interviews is the CAR method. Some people call this the STAR method. I prefer the CAR method because it's shorter. So the CAR method is, as you're formulating a response to a question, is, okay, what was the challenge? What problem existed? Action, what did you do to address that challenge? So C, A, and then R, what was the result? What was the outcome? So here was this issue. I took this action, and here was the result. So here's a typical question. Tell me about a time you handled pressure. And a weak answer, I work well under pressure. I always stay calm. That doesn't tell me anything. That tells me what you think about how you handle it. You have no evidence, no story, nothing. And guys, people remember stories. So have some good ones. You need examples, proof, and outcome. So here's a strong CAR structured answer here, using that framework of CAR. Challenge, we were short-staffed during peak warehouse hours. I needed to ensure outgoing shipments stayed on schedule. Action I took, I reorganized loading assignments and prioritized time-sensitive freight. The result, we met all dispatch deadlines and avoided late delivery penalties. Boom. Hired. Love it. So here's a weak prompt. Help me answer the question. Tell me about a time you had to work under a lot of pressure. Here is a strong prompt. Here is my rough answer to the question. Tell me about a time you had to work under pressure. And please rewrite it using the CAR method. Keep it concise and professional. Do not invent details. And that helps you get a refined answer based in facts and truth, not falsehoods. So that's how you can use AI to help put together these CAR stories. But please take the time to do it ahead of time, because in the moment, we're nervous. Being nervous in a job interview is just normal. So instead of trying to run from it, I can't imagine a scenario when I would be somewhat nervous in a job interview, just because it's inherent. And it's okay. Just lean into it and prepare. The more prepared you are, the more you're going to be able to perform, no matter how nervous or not nervous you feel. So practice, 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 prepare, do homework. Type this into any AI website. I have an interview for a job, put in the job title. Please give me 10 questions I might be asked. Here are the 10 most common questions overall. The number one most common one is, tell me about yourself. Here are 10 succinct interview questions you might be asked for entry-level IT help desk technician roles. And I got all these from from AI. So you put that prompt in and, this is what they'll spit out. So really, really important that you have questions, your answers to these questions, practice. So how do you practice in a mock interview with AI? So we're going to prompt AI and say, act like an interviewer for a real job interview. I'm applying for a job as a blank. Here's the job posting. Please ask me one question at a time, wait for my answer, and after each answer, give me a score from 1 to 10, a sentence of feedback, and a better version of my answer. I love this. This is a very unintimidating way to have a mock interview. You can do it at 2 in the morning, all by yourself. It's go time. This is, I think, especially helpful. So the AI interviewer. Thanks for meeting with us today. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you want to be a patient care technician? Job seeker. Well, blah, 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 blah. AI feedback. Score 7 out of 10. Good start, but you could be a little more specific. Here's an improved answer. See how this could be helpful. This could be very, very helpful. It's impersonal. It's just taking what you are giving it and giving you really nice feedback. So I love this prompt. I love AI for this purpose because I feel like a lot of people get interviews and they think they're better at interviewing than they are. Do your homework, use these tools to get ready for your interviews. And mock interviews they're so valuable. Here's another one. How do you handle tasks like lifting, turning, and helping patients? Pretty strong. I've done it before. I just try to be careful. 5 out of 10. You should mention safety, teamwork, and any training that you had. Better answer. So tying their needs to what you have done and can do. At the end of the interview, what questions would you like to ask? I don't know. I don't have any. No, wrong answer. Always have at least 3 to 5 prepared. Here's some simple questions. Look at that. So preparing questions to ask them is vital. Here's a good prompt. Based on this job description and company profile, generate 5 thoughtful interview questions that show preparation and interest. For CDL, how does your company support safety? What's success look like? How do you measure on-time delivery? What opportunities are there for training or learning? All those things. So it's industry specific, right? So AI won't sit in the interview chair for you, but it can help you show up ready. So preparation plus structure plus practice equal confidence. You're going to be nervous no matter what. But the more that you prepare and then you find a structure, a framework for how you're going to respond to questions and you practice it, the more confident you're going to be and the more you're going to show up like your best self. AI helps with all those things. You provide experience, personality, and delivery. Thank you notes. After an interview, my best advice is to send a thank you note. I'm always shocked when I ask my customers, say, hey, did you send a thank you note? And they say no. And I'm like, so please hear it here. If not first, let it be a reinforcement. It matters. I had a customer once, I asked, hey, did you send a thank you note? And they're like, oh no, I didn't have the email address. Well, I helped them find the email address because there's ways. There's a cool website called Hunter.io. You can go there. You can find almost any email for a company of a certain size. So we found the person's email. It wasn't that hard. She sent the thank you note and got the job offer that afternoon. I know, it makes me feel so powerful, right? I'm like, oh, it was all for me because I told you to do the thank you note. Well, the key was that they'd kind of forgotten about her and they still needed somebody. And when she sent the thank you note, it was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you win. Thank you notes, short, sweet, keep it 5 to 7 sentences. Mention something that you learned about during the job interview. And here's the prompt. I'm sorry. So the prompt, help me write a short professional thank you, follow these guidelines, or the second prompt. And then you're going to make it your own. So you don't want to take it verbatim, but take what AI gives you and make it personal. So here's a nice example. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I especially enjoyed our discussion about XYZ. I really love that when customers and individuals take the time to pull in something really personal that they remember talking about during the interview, because it really ties their story to the moment and that person will remember that better. So thank you notes are a small step that can make a big difference. In simple terms, a thank you note is a low effort way to stand out as polite, interested, and professional, while many other candidates don't ever send one. So this isn't a pretty, not very heavy lift that can make a pretty huge difference. So they show professionalism. They help the interview remember you. They let you repeat your interest in the job. They give you a chance to highlight at least one strength that you have, kind of keep you front and center. And they can fix or add something you forgot. If you didn't say something in the interview, it's not that hard to kind of weave that into your thank you note. And by the way, I forgot to mention blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's a nice tool for a variety of reasons. For WIOA customers and new CDL or entry-level workers, they show you're reliable and teachable, someone who follows through, communicates, and cares about doing things the right way. But here's a responsible use reminder. AI increase, but making it personal still matters. Don't auto-apply blindly. Verify job legitimacy, customize every resume, and follow up professionally. If you're just copy and pasting and using what AI spits out, your resume is just going to look like a million other resumes. So use this as a tool to get things started, but tweak it and make it your own, make it personal.